So if you had the opportunity to speak to the powers that be it rugby or any professional sport, would you ask them to change how professional sport handles vulnerability within players and mental health?
Well, I think there's a lot of ground in rugby to help that. I think the biggest challenges are around social media, some of the biggest challenges, but that is the world we're in now. We're not going to change that. I've been in with some sporting teams in the US, and there's I wouldn't say a ban, but they've agreed not to have their phones before the game, after the game, for certain periods of time. Because I've been in change rooms where the players walk in, they've just lost, and they're already on their phone before they even take the gum shield out. And I think those they add a lot of pressures. Again, is it credibility, validation? Is it identity? Why are they checking their phone? Right? But that's the world that the younger generation, a lot of people are in, where you're looking for that straight away. And it only takes one person to say you had a really bad game or be a bit offensive, then it affects you really badly, takes them really down. I think a lot of sporting organisation and governing bodies are very aware of that now. A lot of teams are aware of that. There's some parameters around that stuff. I think that's important. I think that's a real big problem in society in terms of throwaway lines like we talked about. And of course, in sport, you're in the front line. You're in the front line, and you people can almost say things without any accountability. That's the challenge. So, but outside of that, it's the pressures they put on themselves. They want to win. They've been injured. They've lost. They didn't play well. So there's so many mental challenges for that. If you think about it, I get guys that are such winners. They're not happy if they don't kick all their goals. They're not happy if they don't play very well but win. They're not happy if they lose. They aren't happy when they're injured. So you're looking at only a couple of weeks of the year that they're flying high and on top of top of a cloud where they've had a couple of good games and they've won. But that's reality. But that's breaking it down is what we're doing now. You highlight that to the player and you think, hang on, now let's put this in perspective, because this is what it is. This is what we are facing. And that's the reality of it. That's the sort of, I'm not the psychologist, and I get them help as well. Someone that's qualified to do that. But they're the pressures we put around themselves. And I think making sure you realize you should only care about the people who care about you is the important part. We've done things like forums where we've invited people in, where we've had people being critical of teams, and we've invited those people in and we've sat with them. And I remember once there was a forum of about 50 people at Sale, and once they'd vented what they thought and they had the answers from the coach and from even the players, we brought 2 or 3 players that they've been critical of, very good players, by the way, international players that, and good people. But once you break down those barriers and you see the human side, everybody in the room left feeling so much better. The players were so much happier. They'd met their demons, they'd met these people, and actually the people realised these are good people, and they're having their photos taken with them afterwards by the end of the evening. And that, again, is a really good way of breaking it down. All the criticism stopped from that certain group of people about those certain players. So there's lots of those things that can be helpful because, as I say, there's no accountability and no consideration to some of these situations. But having family and friends around you supporting you is really important too.